Reservoir Engineering course. Today we are having our live session where you can ask question related to the assignment, related to course content, and I would be happy to answer your queries. So please go ahead, you can type in the chat box of you can type your queries in the YouTube chat window. There is already one Google Doc form was shared, so I'll pick the question from there also. And some question I'll be picking from the portal where officially you written the message related to any query. So one by one we will go through that thing. First I'll wait to take the live questions and then I'll summarize the questions mentioned in the Google Doc file as well as in SWAM portal. Okay, so as there is no live question in the YouTube chat, I'll take first the question from the Google Doc and then I'll wait. You can write a question here in the chat window. I'll pick up the questions after completing the queries, those we received through this Google Doc file as well as from the portal. So in the Google Doc file, we got only one question from M. Hari is the professional who asked the question related to the assignment number 3 And the question is asked, is any data missing in question number 4, 8, 9, and 10? So I checked it. I think there is enough information required to calculate the values asked in assignment 3 for question number 4, 8, 9, 10 are provided. So please look up the procedure mentioned in the video, and you should be able to solve the problems of assignment number 3 all without any additional information. It means the information provided is enough and there is no information is missing to solve this question number 4, 8, 9, and 10 of week 3 assignment. So this is the only question I got in the Google Doc file. I'll take some question from portal, although the questions are already answered. Well, I just pick some of them and try to answer that. So the question mentioned by Rajat Mishra and others, not able to access lecture notes. So I think this problem is already solved out. The lecture notes are provided to NPTEL team and they would be sharing with you. Another question was about the Newton-Raphson method. So this is any standard engineering mathematical book you can prefer to have the problem solving by the Newton-Raphson method. I described very briefly, taking one example, how to find out the root of the equation by Newton-Raphson method. I also mentioned in the lecture about taking the help of MS Office, means the Excel sheet, where there is a function called the goal sheet. With the help of that, also you can optimize any function that it could also be useful. So you may have several mathematical books for the Newton-Raphson and trapezoidal rule to practice the problems. Another problem mentioned by is the score of my week 1 assignment. So this is not what we are supposed to disclose, or we are not having the data. It will be reflected as per the timeline mentioned by the NPTEL team for this particular course. I think you should keep visiting the website as and when they are having the plan to announce it, either in between or during the running of the course, or maybe at the end of the course, you should get your marks detail. So I have no particular information about the timelines to announce the result of the week quiz or the assignment of weeks. Next question is from Abhishek Kumar Agrawal. This course consists of very large and complex equation. Are we supposed to remember them for final exam? Abhishek and others also, I just want to clarify. You don't need to remember the complex formula or the large formula. If it is required in the exam, it will be provided as the supplementary information. However, the expression, those are coming by the basic fundamental understanding. Those you should be able to either remember them or you should be able to derive them if they are required in the calculation in the exam. Otherwise, the empirical correlation or the correlation, those are not having very simple fundamental understanding. They need multiple steps to reach that expression. Those kind of the expression will be provided at the supplementary material. So no need to remember, but you need to understand the fundamentals of how those equations are derived. Next question is week 3, question number 3. I have a doubt in week 3 assignment number 3. Calculated value is this. Options are different. Are these optional correct? Yeah, so the option provided in the question number 3 for the week 3 are correct. You just have to use appropriate formula to calculate the permeability. That permeability is given for a different length sample. You have to use the permeability of each section, weighted it with the length, and you should be able to get the answer, and that answer is among the choices given to you. So you may recheck your calculation to get the answer for this question. Assignment number 3, question number 10, asked by Prof. Prasad Babu. Sir, good day. Can you explain question number 10 in assignment 3? I'm not getting proper answer. So in question number 3, you have question number 10 of assignment number 3, you have to pay a little bit attention. That attention is saying you are asked to calculate the permeability value. that permeability value should be calculated with the information given to you. So what you can use the IPR equation that is having the relationship between the flow rate and the pressure drawdown in terms of the reservoir properties and fluid properties. One of the reservoir property is the permeability that is missing. Otherwise, other values for the fluid and reservoir are given, like the page-on thickness for the reservoir, valve radius, reservoir radius are provided. Viscosity of the oil is also provided. Now, which IPR equation you should be using? That is the question, correct? So, in this case, if you start with the Darcy law in appropriate unit system for the radial flow system, you should be able to get the value of permeability that is asked in this question. So, you just do the Darcy law calculation, provided the information to you, you can use that information, and the missing part in that expression is permeability, because flow rate and pressure difference is given to you. You should be able to calculate the value of permeability. The next one is Anthony. He asked the question, general material balance, lecture 11, two-phase equations. So this is already answered in the portal itself. We converted the expression of the N, that is the initial oil in place, how the initial oil in place oil is related to other parameters in the big expression, where we were having the BG and BO, that is the volume formation factor for the gas and oil. We can use the two-phase volume formation factor defined as BT is equal to BO plus saturation difference RSI minus RS multiplied by BG. So in the expression, as you mentioned in the numerator, you are having the problem, you just subtract RSI BG and add RSI BG. So one of the factor RSI BG will be included to the definition of BT, another will go in the expression itself. We will be having the expression. So I think this is simple one. And similarly, as you did not ask also, in the denominator, we are having the BTI, that is the initial condition of the two-phase condition. At that condition, RSI will be equal to RS, or other way, RS will be equal to RSI, and that will make BTI is equal to BOI, because the volume formation factor will remain same and that factor will be cancelled out. So by adjusting mathematically or manipulating the expression, you will be able to get the desired expression. Those are mentioned in the next step, and I think you should be able to get it. For further help, you can take the answer replied in the portal with the image. And the one more question, Strupuva asked about assignment number 4, question number 1 and 2, that is asked the value of M is not matching. So I just check it. There is a mistake in the assignment question. Although the problem is asking value of M, by the definition of M, M is the initial gas cap divided by the initial oil. While in the question of assignment number 4, question number 1, it is asked the value of M, but the expression before the M is written is ratio of oil to gas. That is wrongly. It should be the ratio of gas to oil value. And that is the value of M. If you consider the definition of M, that is the volume of the gas divided by the volume of the oil at initial condition, then the options are having the correct answer. You should be able to get it. So I'll get it corrected in the text format of the question, where this should be calculate the ratio of gas volume to oil volume. In bracket, it is mentioned M. So in fact, we are asking you to calculate the value of M in that question. So with this, I think I finished all the questions asked in the portal also. One by one, I could cover all those questions. And as I mentioned, the language of question number 1 in assignment 4 will be modified. There is no further question in the Google Doc file, so I'll just take the question from the YouTube chat window. So there is one question just came. Good evening, sir. Please put subtitle option. I think the subtitle option should be there in the YouTube videos. I think this is nowadays the default function. If it is not there, maybe I can request the NPTEL team to enable this option. Or maybe you can also put up that request to nodal center, that is IIT Madras, to provide these facilities where the subtitles are also provided. Okay. Any other question? So as there is no question, I briefly discuss about what we covered so far in this course. So this is the Petroleum Reservoir Engineering course, very fundamental course. We did not discuss like very complex expression. I try to make the content of this course very simple way, very fundamental, and the students from average college or the average student can also understand the fundamental of the petroleum reservoir engineering. In this lecture of 20 hours, I covered the spectrum of conventional petroleum production system. So briefly, I mentioned about the syllabus, and that syllabus was classified into 3 parts. That is section 1, section 2, and section 3. In section 1, we mostly discuss about the origin and composition of the petroleum, petroleum geology, drilling method, how to reach that petroleum substance that is underneath the surface, very large depth, several hundred meters, or I would say several 1,000 feet depth. And then we also discuss in more detail about how to estimate the properties of the fluid. Those are present in the reservoir domain. Those are natural gas, crude oil, and water also. That's we call the formation water. And in detail, we also discuss about the rock properties. We discuss about the analytical method to understand the fluid phase behavior and the estimation of the rock properties. A dedicated lecture was provided to you on understanding of the hydrodynamics of, on the thermodynamics of the hydrocarbon fluid, understanding the behavior of the fluid when it is subjected to different temperature and pressure condition. A very special case of retrograde behavior of the hydrocarbon was also discussed in that. In this section 2, that's we are still in section 2 up to now. I think you are in week 4 or week 5 as of today. We started with the material balance in oil and gas reservoir, considering the volumetric flow, volumetric balance, that is the 0-dimension model. So no fluid flow equation was considered. Only this is kind of a tank model where we are having the initial conditions. After a certain time, we produce some of the fluid to the surface, and understanding the dry mechanism, those are responsible to maintaining the pressure based on the concept of the linear equation. Second is we did in week 5 we discussed about the fundamental of oil and gas flow in porous media, followed by setting up the general radial diffusivity equation and converting that radial diffusivity equation to inflow performance relationship for different conditions. Different conditions means we are having different types of the fluid and different flow regime like steady state, pseudo steady state, and transient flow condition. The rest of the part will be covered, I think, in the further week lecture. So we will be having another live session in the month of October. The date and time will be announced by the office, and it will be communicated to you in well advance. So you can put up your queries in that Google Doc file shared, or you can also ask live. That session will also be the live session, and you will get the chance to interact with me with your queries. So in summary, what we discussed in terms of the week lecture, I'll just wait. The computer is not responding properly. So this is like in week 1, we were having the lengthy 4 lectures. We started with introduction of the reservoir engineering, discussed the petroleum reserves, and then the geology. That is very important to identify or assess the reservoir capacity, and then discuss briefly about the well drilling method. So all this I covered in week 1 itself. week 2 included lecture number 5 to 7, that's thermodynamics of the hydrocarbon, followed by the natural gas properties and the properties of the crude oil. In week 3, we discuss about the rock properties and the concept of the relative permeability when more than one phase is present in the reservoir, and that's actually the condition. We always having more than one phase in the reservoir, let it be the oil reservoir or the gas reservoir. There is always associated water there, either through the influx or in the secondary recovery, we are injecting the water and gas into the reservoir domain. So we discuss the relative permeability concept in detail, followed by the primary drive mechanism. Those are responsible for the production of natural oil by the primary recovery mechanism. Primary recovery mechanism means the natural force that is pushing the hydrocarbon fluid towards the wellbore and further from wellbore to the surface facilities. In week 4, we discussed the very fundamental volumetric balance equation in general, followed by the volumetric equation for oil and gas reservoir. In week 5, as I mentioned earlier also, the fundamental of reservoir fluid and setting up the IPR equation for different flow regime and different types of the fluid considered. So I think with this, the lecture videos, the material in the form of slide would be good enough. Along with that, you can also prefer this book of Tariq Ahmed, very excuse me. Hello. Yeah, I'm busy. Okay. So this Tariq Ahmed book, that is the Reservoir Engineering Handbook, you can always refer this for solving the numerical problem or clarifying some of the doubt. Those are not very clear to you here, as well as additional information that is not covered during the lecture. You can prefer Tariq Ahmed book. Other book like LP Tech is also very good book for the fundamental of the reservoir engineering that can also be referred to understand the concept of reservoir engineering. So with this, I think I give you the brief idea about the course content also, what we discussed. If you are having any question, please put up that in the chat window of YouTube. I'll take the question and try to answer that. I think as there is only one question so far, I'll be if question comes, I'll keep answering those things. Otherwise, I'll sign off. You can still ask the question in the portal, or you can wait for the next live session if you want to have the discussion in the live mode. That will be scheduled, I think, around mid of October. So it seems there is no question live. So hence I would like to close my live session. And as I mentioned, you can get connected live again. One more session will be arranged in the mid of October for this course. As well as I request you to keep posting the questions in the portal. We will try to answer the questions there. Okay. So there is one more question, that is, sir, one doubt about what are the minimum marks in assignments. I think there is nothing called minimum marks in the assignment, but each assignment, let's consider, is having 10 questions and 10 marks is the maximum marks that somebody can obtain. And in terms of the grading of the scores, there is a procedure already mentioned in our website how the final score will be calculated. That will include the performance in the exam as well as the score collectively you score in all the assignment. I think if I'm correct, there is a way of counting the best 9 out of 10 or best 8 out of 10, or there is some logic there. But you can refer the website where you will get the correct answer about how the percent of the assignment will be included in the final grading. So I got one more question, that is, yeah, few more questions are there. Okay. So let me take those questions. Sir, can you please add solution brief, explain about problem? Yes, we already prepared the solution for all the assignments, and those will be provided, I think, to NPTEL team, and they would be sharing. I don't know exactly. They would be sharing once, I think, all the assignment completed, or maybe when certain number of the assignment completed, then only they can release the solution of the previous assignment. So there is a deadline, there is some correction time to adjust the questions of the assignment, and then they will be sharing. From my office, it is already prepared, and then those will be shared with you by the NPTEL team only. Another question by Jay Chove, please explain gas method to find methane in natural gas in question number 8, me too. Just a minute, I'll take this call. Hello. Yes. अच्छा मैं खुद से एंड कर सकता हूँ. Okay. Question is there. I'm answering it now. Okay. Sorry, I think I muted for the previous call. So now I'll explain it again. As you ask, what is the explain gas method to find methane in natural gas in assignment 2, question number 8. So this is a simple question that we discussed in the video also, how to identify the composition of the natural gas. Not only identify, quantify also how much that particular gas is present in the natural gas mixture. So the natural gas is a mixture of hydrocarbon and non-hydrocarbon gases. In the case of detecting the hydrocarbon gases, we can use the detector that's called the FID detector, flame ionization detector. For the case of non-hydrocarbon gases and the light hydrocarbon gases, we can use the detector called the TCD, thermal conductivity detector. These detectors are the part of the gas chromatography unit. So the gas chromatography is having 3 components. First one is injector, through which we inject the gas. Second is the column which hosts that gas injected into the column, and let the separation of the gases happen depending on the types of the column and the packing inside the column. Different resistance time is offered for the composition of the gases, and based on the boiling point or some other phenomena, the gas gets separated within the column, and one by one they reach to the detector. So FID can detect methane, TCD can also detect methane. So if I answer specifically how to detect the methane in the natural gas, both thermal conductivity detector and flame ionization detector can detect the methane gas. How to know that detected gas is the methane or not? We can run the standard sample and find out the retention time at which the methane appears. Second is how to quantify that thing. So we can inject the known amount of the methane gas, find out the area under the curve, traces by that known amount of the gas. Using the relationship of the area, we can find out how much percent of a particular gas is present in the sample that we injected. So the quantification as well as qualitative analysis of the natural gas mixture can be done with the help of gas chromatography. And methane can be detected by both TCD and FID detector. I think I answered your question, Jay Chowbe. And sorry for that mute condition. I went to mute and explained the same thing earlier also. So now we have to have one with the muted condition, another with the voice. Any other question, Jay and 2T Boys Hostel? It seems like you two are only live. Yeah, thank you. If there is no more questions, I can sign off from here. And as already mentioned, you can write your queries in the portal. And second is there will be another live session in the mid of October. You will be informed by the office about the date and time, and then you can ask question again there. Okay. So thank you very much for joining this live session. I hope I could answer some of your queries, those were in your mind. Hope to see you again in the next live session. Thank you very much.